Alright, so we are heading to go look for Blackwall or Blackwall.
No one knows.
But first, let's go here and do some war table. Yep. Excuse me. Come on. There we go. Alright, so we got perks. We're done with those. Gotcha. Alright, let's start up in the corner. Delen, thanks to the efforts of your Inquisition, Clan Leven is safe within the city of Wycombe. The Duke Antone's mad efforts to destroy us have ended with his death. For now, I lead both our clan and the elves of the city, while the human merchants have formed a coup that deals with us fairly and honorably. The other cities of the Free Marches listen to the false stories of the nobles who fled. I fear they will retaliate, but I am loath to flee the city, as that would effectively leave the city elves to die for our actions. If you have a path that leads to safety for our people, I welcome your advice. Dal Chabrel, Keeper Azamariel, Lebellin. If we negotiate, the marchers will kill the elves, then send apologies. We must fortify the city. Let's be able to convince the remaining marchers to listen to reason. Let's.
To work?
Commander Colin. Our troops fortified the city of Wycombe and flew the Inquisition banner. It is good that we did so, as the marchers had soldiers ready to invade the city and kill every elf inside. They were not ready to make an enemy of the Inquisition, however, and when they saw our soldiers, they pulled up short. The Inquisition diplomats, Lady Grenard Valent, handled negotiations quite well. When presented with evidence of the red lyrium, which we made clear was an unholy tool of Corypheus himself, the marchers backed down from their claim of a faceless elven rebellion and pledged to leave Welcome in peace. They have also donated generously to the Inquisition coffers to make clear their support for our cause. The Inquisitor's keeper, Imishorel, has been installed along with the city elves and several human merchants on the new Wycombe City Council, which will rule the city fairly for both humans and elves alike. Lieutenant Rosalind, Chambertary. Perfect. Aiding Kirkwall. The tournament of the Mage Rebellion has been quelled. However, the city where it all began, Kirkwall, still suffers from the consequences of the fanatic Andrew's actions. Kirkwall was once my home. It was the home of the Grand Cleric Athena, who was a mother to me and so many others. I will not watch it languish. Starkhaven will soon embark on a mission of aid. We will send troops and workers to assist in the rebuilding and the restoration of the city. I humbly entreat the Inquisition for help in this endeavor. Sebastian. Griff is still a threat. Threatening Thetis, Kirkwall has survived this long. It can do for a while longer. Our learn may present an obstacle to rebuild the city. Our soldiers can assist in its removal. I will pledge for assistance from our supporters around Thetis, restoring Kirkwall. Symbol that's happened could be a significant act to cement our alliance.
At your service.
Our plea for aid has earned us great praise. Many see our willingness to commit to Kirkwall's restoration as a reinforcement of our commitment to restoring order to all the world. First Kirkwall and then all of Thetis, Josephine. Alright, let's see. Delicate negotiations. Inquisitor. Here's the thing, I don't even own a mask. Thus, when the Orlesian Empire invited me to engage in real peace talks, I get nervous. I don't know what the Orlesians mean when they say that, but I heard it involves poison and dancing, and perhaps both at the same time. I'm told you know Empress Celine, and she owes you for the whole save your life business. Considering you also helped save mine, perhaps the Inquisition could help make these talks happen. Keen Alistair. There's a great deal of bad blood between the nations, but I will do my best to obligate their talks. The talks between Ferelden and Olay took place in Jeddah, and it was not easy to keep matters from spiraling out of control. Keen Alistair is no diplomat after all, and had little patience for the endless fanfare. Thankfully, the Olesians are uninterested in more war, and we were able to smooth the way towards an eventual peace treaty. The king sent along a sword that once belonged to the Ferelden hero King Callahan as a thanks for what the Inquisition helped create.
Let us begin. Let us begin.
Yes, ma'am.
Let us begin.
I do this one.
Let us begin.
Yes, Josie. All right. Let's back out for a moment so we can save. Stay out of my kitchen. Go lay down, Brands. Perfect. All right. Save. And back in. With Morgan joining us this time. Oh, and last time. Alright. Top corner here. House of Molars. Dorian has completed his research using the Liverium and believes he found a connection between Corypheus and an ancient master named Cetus of the House Amaris. This will be difficult to prove and may be of limited use, but it's worth noting that the House Amaris still exists, and even accusations that Corypheus and Cetus are the same person would be worthy of a scandal in Deventer, one that the current members of that family might be desperate to avoid. Let's send them information as a gesture of goodwill. Let's see what they do with it. Blackmail them. They would undoubtedly do the same to us if our position were reversed. Wow, Josie. Every Deventer house has enemy. Sell the information to one of them. Blackmail.
Inquisitor.
The reaction from the house Almas was so quick and venomous it can only mean that they knew about this scandal in their family tree for some time. Centuries, perhaps. Their first response were threats, but after being assured of our serious intent, they quickly changed their tune. Several retainers arrived with a letter for you, Josephine. The retainer's letter. My dear Inquisitor, naturally, these accusations of connections to those old legends are without merit, and even if that weren't the case, it would have little meaning to my family today. We are Deventer citizens of good standing, uninterested in whatever this Corypheus has to offer, and will support the Inquisition in its efforts to fight this creature however we may. Master Iron of House Amarus. Perfect. Nothing like a little bit of blackmail. Unmasked. Those across the sea. I had our people remove a downward pointing triangle symbols from our outposts. They have not made a reappearance, which means little. It's clear someone has an interest in the Inquisition. Someone organized with ties to those across the sea. We've eliminated the Carnari as the most obvious suspects. Nonetheless, knowing who they are does not tell us who they are, what they're doing, or why. They're clever, we know that, and they have resources, but so do we. And they should learn that they are not to toy with the Inquisition. Liliana. If our investigation has any hope of succeeding, we have to strike hard and fast before they even know we're looking. A coordinate effort hitting all the leads we have at once. This is pointless. I want to commit our forces to hunting a shadow Kerbal accession with little chalk trains. I say we forget this and focus on Corypheus. Lily. Compliments to your spy master. She is a resourceful woman. Once she traced our agent to Commander Bria, the match was ruled in her favor. Tell Sister Liliana to call off her dogs. Save them for Corypheus. We suspect all that she has gotten all she can from Sir Helmuth. A caterpillar on a leaf does not know there is a forest about him. You will hear no more from us. Our intention was to watch, and we have seen enough. Corypheus threatens us all, and the Inquisition is status only hope for stopping him. Remember that, for the moment, we are not your enemy. As a gesture of goodwill, we share our knowledge. May it prove valuable in your coming battle. On behalf of the powers across the sea, the executioners. Alright then. Negotiating a deal for weapon plans. I recently became aware of the talent and of young blacksmiths from the Netherthales. Once we were introduced through my excessive connections, I negotiated a deal to obtain his weapon plans for the Inquisition. Unfortunately, I have just now been outbidden by a noble from Valdemar, who maintains a private army. I would hate to lose those designs. Is there anything we can do, Sir Morris, quartermaster? Let's see. The Inquisition need is greater. Leave this to me. I will have this nobleman persuaded. I could attempt to find a compromise. Knowledge can be shared after all. I'm sure the noble will be reasonable. Nope.
Let's see what we have.
There, the Valar nobleman should no longer get in our way. Our agents explained the situation to him. He was quite content to step away. The Anathal's blacksmith's weapons designs are ours, Liliana. Is it upgrades? Bonus. Staff only. Okay. Oh, back just popped. And so many places. Oh my god. I don't know whether that was good or if it hurt. Okay. Resource.
Let us begin. I have requests
Resource.
for information on your lineage from a few interested parties at the Winter Palace.
Andraste preserve me. Feel free to use those requests as kindling.
No, I shall take them. I want to know who pines for our commander. We can use this to our advantage.
I am not bait.
Hush, just look pretty.
That always gets me. Hush, just look pretty. Oh goodness. Inquisitor, if you believe it would be helpful, I would be pleased to take the Bull's Chargers into a lake to meet with mercenaries currently serving Olesian nobles who wish to rebel. A well-placed word from one of the professionals to another could pull the teeth from the enemy and
With the
bolster...
Civil War over, Orlais is focusing on rebuilding.
There is still trouble in the Dales. We've had no news from the Exalted Plains for weeks.
and bolster the Inquisition's ranks, Lieutenant Krem. A few drops of poison in the right windglass, and some of these mercenaries will be looking for a new employer. While charges lean on the mercenaries, I can lean on the nobles. Between us, we can... I always go with her, and it doesn't seem to help, but let's do this. The Bull's Chargers met with several mercenary bands. Some were receptive to ideas, while others refused to break their contracts. A few took insult and attack, but we sorted that out quickly enough. The Elysian nobles on our side were grateful to us for weakening their enemies. That gratitude should soon fill Inquisition coffers, Lieutenant Crown. Alright, so Truth or Dare, the end game. Ambassador Maltiette. We have never met, but I believe you have, through discreet means, saved me from a most disagreeable connection. As I dislike being in debt to anyone, I shall endeavor to repay you with a new item of some interest. Were you aware that the Grand Duchess of Leeds recently paid a visit to Lake Celatine? Celatine? Indeed, she stayed an entire fortnight as a guest of the Duke Anvil Beckett of Valmartin. In light of her other connections and curious amount of coin which spread across the region in the aftermath, you may wish to pay him a call. Sincerely, Duke Ferran Fontaine. Send our agents in. We can expose his connection to Florian for all the world to see. And Duke Bella was compromising with Florian. The Imperial Court would like to know. Here we go.
Inquisitor.
My dearest Vivian, you cannot imagine the scandal when 6 bags of Devinger coins were found wrapped in Becca coat of arms and nailed to the Chanter's board. Lily-handed, even the Chanter's board. Holy God. It will be talked of for months. It's disagreeable to think that a cousin of the Imperial family could be involved with these horrid Venatori. One hardly knows what to think. Your new friend produced the best entertainment. Write again soon. It's been too long since we've had tea. Vatmes Ela di Madu? Whatever. That name. My dear Inquisitor Celine, there was no time for us to dance in the Winter Palace, but perhaps I might claim that dance you offer now. You may not be familiar with the Almedi. It It is preluded to every great movement in music and in the game. I would be happy to teach you the steps. To begin, the couples form two lines facing one another. South of the Imperial Highway between the Brashla and the Matasamar is the Yin Basin. It is a beautiful place of walnut groves, hollyhocks, and fifth-rate amenities that recently lost the lure to the Civil War. On the western edge of Yin, the hopeful young Comte poison stands. Poseidon? Whatever, lines up his little toy soldiers for a quick and quiet invasion. Surely you would not leave the poor boy without a dance partner. If the Inquisition defends lordless Yang Basin, it might perhaps be considered your property. Be mindful of the steps, my dear. Cordially, Marquise. We could talk the Dorna's opportunity in more subtle way if we directly speak to the Comte. And I can't use Liliana. And as a small basin, we can easily send enough troops to defend it from attack. I want to go save. We'll be back. Give me one moment. Because if I choose the wrong one, I want to be able to do better. And we have a person to level up. Vivian. For you. And for you. Vivi. 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 I think I would like to do Cullen, but I'm not quite sure which one is which. So, let's use Cullen. Cullen first.
To work?
To the leaders of the Inquisition, it comes as a great shock to me that the organization that claims to be defending us from the breach holds an interest in walnut farming. Perhaps you indeed to throw unshelled nuts into the sky to repel demons. Truly, such matters are beyond my expertise. If you have legitimate claims to Yen, I should like to hear it. Cote Marcus Deposit, blah 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 blah. Let's see. Okay, let's finish my dance. My dear Inquisitor, you dance as beautiful as I remember. Are you ready for the second movement? The LD is typically followed by a corte, in which the steps are much faster, almost running. The Comte de Posen so enjoyed your last maneuver that he is now racing to petition the Council of Heralds for recognition of his claim to Yen. I was the first one he contacted, of course, because while the young man is prone to missteps, he is not a complete fool. He is very likely to reach out to the Duke Cyril de Montfort or Duke Germain next. Cyril is the youngest and the most persuadable of the council, and Germain is the oldest and most likely to support a claim of any old or liege noble over the donation of lands to a new and drastic cause. You should make your own move. Allergrissimo. Cordially Marquess Mantiman. Comtesse Manuel, the Silver Lady of Charo, is our best ally here. The Duke of Grants already has connections to us. We could speak with him first. We should speak to Duke Sorrel. By all accounts, he's reasonable. We can win him on our side, so it doesn't really matter.
Inquisitor.
Louisiana. To whom it concerns, we, the Council of Heralds, declare that Yen Basin the holdings of Inquisition, and all revenues and oaths from these lands should be tendered thus as to a titled lord until such time as the Inquisition is dissolved or the holdings lawfully granted elsewhere. Sign, Manderlin, Montfort, and Shipping. All right. All right, Lance. From the heart. The conflict among the nobles of the Legion capital has come to a head. Lady Rachel has been busy promoting an arranged marriage to solidify the position of the current players, with considerable status reserved for her as matchmaker. The object is the pairing of Lord Dusher with Lady Talbot's daughter Celeste. All who have status enough to speak seems to be in agreement, but we have received a number of letters regarding the matter. From Lady Talbot, my daughter will dutifully comply, but I know her feelings. She will speak to no one. I will have you remind her that we are servants of our chosen world, but it serves us as well. It is her name that is stabilizing this alliance. It's conveyed power that should not be misdirected to matchmakers. From Lord de Serrier, frankly, I'll be glad when the matter is settled. I've no desire to inconvenience the young Celeste beyond what name-sharing Lady Ricole recommends. This has been a cock-up from the head to the tail. From Ladry, I pled to the Inquisition. If my dear Celeste is willing to sacrifice to ensure this alliance, then I can only do as much. My name may not be enough for some, but she will have my protection indirectly through your service or through service to you. If you are set on arranging pairing, Justine Lander should be quietly escorted from the city. I would not wish him present. Do we truly need this? I suggest discreet maneuvers in the free marches. A standard routine +2 get the young couple out of the range. This is a currency. The two youths could be married enough if others investments encourage Lord Desert to withdraw.
Let us begin.
Lord Desert was all too glad to receive Variety's concession to abandon the current squabble in favor of a more honorable pursuits. I believe they involve acquiring various trophy animals in bloody fashion. That allowed a less political desirable, but more personal desired pairing to occur. The wedding of Rainier and Celeste will bound their families in alliance. To the chagrin of Lady Charhu, I suspect, matchmakers only true benefit when the names are sufficiently grand. The ceremony will take place in the capital. I'm sure it will be lovely. All right, judgment. Plan to win. Contract has been made. There are others in service to Corypheus. They were promised immortality in the next world and will spare no action in this one. They cannot phantom abandoning their master, and therefore they cannot imagine me abandoning their master. And that is your opening. I can give you all of these people, and I promise there are names among them, but they will not act. will not reveal themselves without a promise of victory that would warrant risking everything. Give me a target, Inquisitor. Place your people in obvious weaknesses, a true tactical blunder that would legitimately pain you. It must be thus. They will sense any falseness. Reveal your side, and I will reveal the knife, and then you can take it. Take them. That is my plan. I know what it looks like. Perhaps I have fooled you all along, and now I have simply asked for you to grant me victory. But I play the game, Inquisitor. Will you now play as well, Grand Duchess? Make the promise, my people will watch the runners. We will get some of these conspirators, and the only one we'll risk is her. It is a risk, but she is not the one of them. Say the word, and the weakness will be known. She's mad if we think we're to such a risk. Send her after some gossiping brat instead. Alright, Liliana. Florian's plan went perfectly until ours was enacted even more perfectly. We exposed a number of names allied with the Venatorio, though the ease with which they were abandoned suggests they were more to have. But we did it without a drop of our own blood hitting the ground, aside from the Duchess, who has not been seen for some days. The sudden exposure of her plan may have made her suspect in the eyes of Vendatori. Some might claim it was a shame to use her this way. She would not, if I know her kind. She expected it and would commend that we did it first, Liliana. Alright, the Imperial Army will aid the Inquisition forces against Caripius, but they must also address lingering issues at home. Weakness in the Veil, no doubt the heightened due to rifts, have resulted in the demons on the road between Valvote and Masmora. This would demand a call to action at the best of times. Unfortunately, the increased numbers of travelers on the roads, merchants attempting to restore trade, and displacing civilians returning home after the war has made the situation worse. The head of the Imperial Army has requested assistance from the Inquisition in subduing this threat. I doubt the army needs that assistance of few complement of soldiers. My agents can scout the roads and divert travelers away from the worst areas. Merchants often travel with the armed escort, but civilians require safe shelter. We could petition the Chantry for aid on their behalf. A chance to solidify our alliance and prove ourselves their equal. A joint venture will also increase our understanding of Imperial Army structure and tactics. Yes, Colin. Agreed. A letter marked with the Chauvet seal. It was an honor to fight alongside the soldiers of the Inquisition. The demons stood little chance. You run an impressive army, Commander. Nothing seals an alliance like bonds formed in battle. May we find similar victories together in the future. A letter marked with the Chevalier seal. Commander, I understand your soldiers intend to persuade a power of Red Templars into the woods surrounding Valforet. We have not forgotten your assistance against the demons, and are we not sworn to aid your fight against Caripius? Let us take arms and cast these Templars out. Our resources alone would only have allowed for small sweeps of the area. With the Imperial Army's assistance, we may entirely root Red Templars from their reign.
All right.
Commander, a fine victory. May our enemies feel its sting. All right. I believe that is it. Oh, there was one there, but that's okay. We will leave it for next time. I do want to go in here quick. You can do it. There we are. Okay.
Where's my other hand? Right there.
Okay. So, let's see. It does not have a rune. You have a rune. I'm not worried about you quite yet. You have a rune. Okay. I don't know if you do not. Dorian, do you? You do. Okay. So we will take Vivian's. Select. Staff only. Burn. Yes. Back. Okay. One 62. Okay. Vivian. There you go. And no. That is definitely not what I wanted. So this. My apologies. I do like that on you instead. Just because. You do not have one. Okay. Okay. I'll find out if he has one or not, but till then, she can have that. Okay, guys, before we continue here, I just needed to take a break, and I'll be right back. All right. Break taken. Let's do this.
Cyril Mornay, for your crimes against the Empire of Orlais. For the murders of General Vincent Callier, Lady Laurette Callier, their 4 children, and their retainers. You are sentenced to be hanged from the neck until dead. Do you have anything to say in your defense? Very well.
Ah, human justice.
Proceed. Stop! A Grey Warden.
This man is innocent of the crimes laid before him. Orders were given, and he followed them like any good soldier. He should not die for that mistake.
Then find me the man who gave the order.
Oh no.
Blackwall!
No, I am not Blackwall. I never was Blackwall. Warden Blackwall is dead, and has been for years. I assumed his name to hide like a coward from who I really am.
You, after all this time.
It's over. I'm done hiding. I gave the order. The crime is mine. I am Thom Rainier.
You'd think we'd lost another divine.
Can you believe it? Thom Rainier himself.
You must know something about Rainier.
I know what everyone knows. He'll hang for the massacre of a noble and his family.
Where did they take the prisoner?
In the jail of the marketplace. If you've goodbyes to say them now. It's a damned mess, but believe you me, it'll be sorted out quick. Lots of people can't wait to see that man swing. Guess not.
Well, they're gonna have to wait a bit longer.
From all we've heard.
I will not condone this at all.
Those who oppose thee shall
Thank you.
When it all cleared, she was still in charge. The point.
You would not believe the number of alliances shattered and broken that night.
Sounds like a wash.
Of course.
Oh, it seems so. And I...
I didn't take Blackwall's life. I traded his death. He wanted me for the Wardens, but there was an ambush. Darkspawn. He was killed. I took his name to stop the world from losing a good man. But a good man, the man he was, wouldn't have let another die in his place.
You think your death will make up for what you did?
Isn't it a start? Why are you here?
I needed you to know you aren't alone in this.
Don't you understand? I gave the order to kill Lord Callier, his entourage, and I lied to my men about what they were doing. When it came to light, I ran. Those men, my men, paid for my treason, while I was pretending to be a better man. This is what I am. A murderer, a traitor, a monster.
Would a monster have given himself up? Somewhere along the line, you stopped pretending.
I have Liliana's report on Thom Rainier.
Give me the overview.
Looks like our friend was once a respected captain in the Imperial Orlesian army. Before the Civil War, he was turned, persuaded to assassinate one of Celine's biggest supporters. He led a group of fiercely loyal men on this mission, and told them nothing of it. His men took the fall for him. A few lucky ones, like Mornay, managed to escape.
Let me guess. Our spy master had this lying around somewhere, didn't she?
It would have been difficult for anyone to connect Blackwall to Rainier. Even Liliana has something of a blind spot when it comes to wardens. What do we do now? Blackwall... Rainier has accepted his fate, but you don't have to. We have resources. If he's released to us, you may pass judgment on him yourself.
If it were up to you, what would happen?
What he did to the men under his command was unacceptable. He betrayed their trust, betrayed ours. I despise him for it. And yet he fought as a warden, joined the Inquisition, gave his blood for our cause. And the moment he shakes off his past, he turns around and owns up to it. Why?
He wanted to change. To prove that he'd really left his past behind. He had to face up to it.
Saving Mornay the way he did took courage, I'll give him that. But I can't tell you what to do.
Have Rainier released to us.
We must move quickly. We can explore our options back at Skyhold.
Winter Palace assault.
At once.
Of course not. Alright. Road map. Skyhorn. Go.
Mother...
Yep, right. Okay. Alright. Let me see here. There he is. Liliana informs me that your contacts in the underworld could aid in having Rainier released from prison. This route would conveniently mask the Inquisition's involvement, Colin. An offer whispered in the right circles. A dozen fractions vying for our favor. We'll see who desires it most.
Inquisitor.
Rainier has been brought to Skyhold Gates under cover of darkness. Best not ask how. Let's do this. Let's get our pal back.
For judgment this day, Inquisitor, I must present Captain Thom Rainier, formerly known to us as Warden Blackwall. His crimes... well, you are aware of his crimes. The decision of what to do with him is yours.
I didn't think this would be easy, but it's harder than I thought.
Another thing to regret. Using your ties to the underworld to free me. You're a criminal, same as me. The world will learn how you've used your influence. They'll know the Inquisition is corrupt.
Once the world is back to normal, no one will even remember this.
I'll remember. I accepted my punishment. I was ready for all this to end. Why would you stop it? What becomes of me now?
Yeah. Stop now, dog.
You have your freedom.
It cannot be as simple as that.
Sure it is.
It isn't. You're free to atone as the man you are, not the traitor you thought you were, or the warden you pretended to be.
The man I am. I barely know him. But I have a lot to make up for. If my future is mine, then I pledge it to the Inquisition. My sword is yours. If I'd said anything less, would an arrow from the rookery have snuffed me like a candle?
Take your post, Thom Rainier.
I might have. I have no clue. All right. Very good. Oh, good. He had one on. Very, 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 very good. Okay. Not what I wanted. Codexes. Alright guys, so this is going to be the end of our episode. We're going to be reading the remaining codex that's highlighted, and if you don't want to stick around for them, that's fine. And then the next episode, we'll open up a new world and head on out. Blackwall, Constable of Grey, Silverwings of Valor, hardly relevant now. They are Warden Blackwall's achievements, and the man we thought to be him was someone else entirely. It explains why I had scant information on Blackwall. He must have been lying low for years. I compiled everything I had on Thom Rainier. Read on, Liliana. What follows is a history of Thom Rainier, prepared for delivery by Sister Liliana. Rainier was born in Markham, a city-state in the Free Marches. There's little information on his earlier life, but he was already a skilled warrior by the time he turned 18. Hoping to make his fortune, he joined the Grand Tourney, that great March contest of arms. He won the medley, proving himself and earning a substantial sum of gold. What happened to the coin Rainier won in the tourney is a mystery. 2 years later, he appeared in Olay. No richer than at 18, still he leveraged his ability and lingering fame to gain a place in the Elysian army. Rainier excelled as a soldier, rising through the ranks quickly to become a captain within a number of men underneath him. Rainier's men were fiercely loyal. Our source believed that many would have gladly defied a higher commander at his word. On the surface, Rainier safeguarded his men's interests, but further investigation reveals that he was primarily concerned with his own advancements and profit. Rainier desired to, amidst a fortune, likely explain his involvement in the massacre of Lord Vincent Collier and his family. Our sources tell us that Rainier was approached by the Chevalier Sir Robert Capus. Sir Robert supported Grand Duke Gaspar's claim to the throne and wished to enter into his good graces by eliminating Lord Collier, one of Celine's staunchest allies. Cabrier hired Rainier to assist Collier and offered him a great deal of coin for it. We have no reason to believe his actions were politically motivated. In the spring of 935, Lord Collier and his family were traveling to their summer home on Lake Salentine when their caravan was ambushed. It is unknown if Rainier realized that Collier would be traveling with his family. Rainier and his men slaughtered Lord Collier and his entourage. They spared not even the children, all four under the age of 13. It seemed that none of Rainier's men were aware of the true reason behind the Lord's killing. They simply followed Rainier's orders. Rumors of Rainier's connection to the murders began swirling through the upper ranks of the army and must have given him forewarning. He was gone when the guards came to arrest him. His men, however, were not so lucky. Almost all were charged with treason, save a few who managed to get away. Thom Rainier was labeled a traitor and a criminal, but remained at large until now. Briella. Watch out for elves in Ham Shiral. Almost no one noticed they're even present. A servant scrubbing floors, a waiter filling glasses, under-gardeners weeding the border, maids and valet-dressed nobles. There's no room, alcove, or alley so private you cannot find one there. And they're watching. They're organized. The rumors you heard of some masterminds leading the elves is no rumor. I have reports that this Briella was Celine's personal spy and assassin, a bard of unusual skill. Who she's working for now, we can't confirm. Say nothing, they will hear you. Part of the commute intercepted by Inquisition agents. Author unknown. Come on, don't freeze. My dearest Viscount, I congratulate you on securing an invitation to appear at court. Allow me to present you with these 3 words of advice as a gift. Don't underestimate Celine. You must not mistake her reputation as a diplomat and peacemaker to mean she avoids conflict. Dozens of her enemies litter the bottom of the harbor in Val Rayo. Negotiation did not send them there. She is as shrewd and ambitious as her grandfather Jusel I, but unlike him, she knows how. Ooh, Jesus, that scared me. Negations did she not send them there. She is as shrewd as ambitious as her grandfather Jusel I, but unlike him, she knows how to handle the nobility. She built the University of Olay, the most famous projection in Olay, the most venomous opposed project in Rhodesian history. Because she knew how to win their support, she needed to overcome even her bitterest rivals. She can keep a pet apostate in front of the chantry because even the divine fears her influence. Do enjoy your visit to the palace. Your Grace, your request the swiftest, surest method of getting a message to Grand Duke Gaspar, so I've arranged for you to meet with his sister, Grand Duchess Florian de Chalens. While she is of the least account among the current heirs to the Olesian throne, her connection to her brother is extremely close. Gaspar will listen to anything she says. Be persuasive, M. Lady Matinin, I can offer no apologies for my nephew's behavior the other night. Gaspar has never betrayed any interest in the following my advice. In truth, everything he said to you at your dinner party, he also said to me. His resentment at being deprived of the throne has festered for some time, and he was never one to accept defeat gracefully. I would take Gaspar's threats of war seriously. I do not believe my nephew knows how to resolve problems through the use of anything but steel. If his record on the battlefield is any indication, he is quite adept at doing so. I shall be increasing my personal guard directly. My dearest Demetrius, I hope this letter finds you recovering from those ghastly meetings about road repair on our import taxes or whatever terrible import work has consumed your time. I applaud your patriotic efforts to maintain the Imperium's infrastructure while the honored beast to the north wages bloody war upon us. I have to ask before, but you are my closest friend, and now that you have seen the stirring of our work, I hope you might reconsider. You cannot think your talent adequate spent on road work, Mitri. You come from the blood of the dreamers. My master will restore the Imperium to the greatness it has not seen since our ancestors walked in the Golden City. He will rule not just a nation, but the world. Those who show loyalty now stand to reap the benefits when all the world kneels to the Venatori. Perhaps you are more comfortable with the roads. When my master returns to Winter to the glory it deserves, he will be pleased to find the nations well paved. Consider well, my friend, Magister Iman. Morgan, Monsieur, I, too, am concerned about this new advisor to the Imperial Court. Celine is truly curious about magic. Why not turn to Madame Defer with her questions? Why seek out the dark-haired apostate from Ferelden? Why bring the woman here? After a great deal of surveillance, I can reassure you somewhat. I do not believe this Morgan has our Empress in sordidest. There is no way to be certain, of course, but the witch and Celine argue often. If Morgan tells Celine something unpleasant, she will avoid the witch for months before curiosity draws her back. Morgan has an interest in ancient things, magic from a time before the chantry even existed, and it is this pursuit that intrigues Celine. Morgan can answer questions that Madame Defer either could not or would not. Whether any pertain to blood magic or other forbidden things, I can only suspect. 3 of my spies disappeared after attempting to breach the spells protecting this woman's lavatory in the depths of the palace. I would raise a fuss, but then my efforts would be revealed. Even though I am alone, the entire court is consumed with curiosity, and the more Celine keeps in her sidelines, the more we all wish to know. Our Empress played with fire, considering she yet to find herself a husband to solidify the future of her dynasty. These dealings with the apostates are more nailed to her coffin. Give me one moment, guys. All right. Creatures. Dragons, dragonkind. These dragons hollowed out massive layers for themselves for the space to house their harem of drakes as well as their eggs and draglings. High dragons are seldom seen. They spend most of their time sleeping and mating, living off their prey. Drakes bring back. But once every 100 years or so, the high dragon prepares the clutching by emerging from her lair and taking wing. She will fly far and wide, eating hundreds of animals, most often livestock, over the course of a few weeks, leaving smothering devastation in her wake. She then returns to her lair to lay her eggs and will not again appear in the sky for another century. And okay, so that was just because it increased. My apologies. Goals. Did we? Yeah, I think we read that. It's just an increase. And same for this. Oh, we missed one? Nightmares. We'll read this one because I can't remember if we did or not. My friend, we accept the fact that more powerful and intelligent demons select more complex aspect of our reality to observe and interact with. A demon of pride may gravitate to the corrupt hubris of nobles, the bloodthirsty arrogance of soldiers, or sadly, the blind confidence of mages. A demon of desire may focus on lust, greed, or even the desperate wishes of those who with no recourse in the waking world. Whether demons are naturally inclined to such specificity or made by observing or confluence of specific events in our world is a subject of much debate and not the question my experiment would answer. Instead, I turn to the question of fear. We think of fear demons as lesser creatures, powerful but simple, like those common beasts of rage or hunger. But fear has many faces, from observed phobias of the pampered nobilities to the very real threat of magic, demons, dragons, and perhaps especially the Blight. What event has shaped the course of human history more than the Blights? Had the first Blight not weakened it, the Defender Imperium would have crushed Andraste's rebellion. We would have no Ferelden, no Circle, and indeed no Chantry as we know it. The Blight is unequaled as a force of devastation and terror, hate and fear by peasants and king alike, from the northern hills of Anderfels to the southern reaches of the Kokori Wilds. I know of nothing else that inspires such universe and specific fear. Dragons and demons, yes, but both have founded respect and fascination in cultures across status. Only the Blight is an unadulterated resource of horror. If there exists a demon of fear who has shaped itself into a more intelligent, more pacific mold, it would be a demon focused on fear of the Blight. The experiment I am undertake, by the time you read this, my friend, I will be asleep, traveling through the fade to find such a creature. If I am correct, it will yield an unparalleled source of information of the history of our world, wisdom hidden since the time of ancient Devinter. I have instructed the scribes to write quickly upon my return. I will have much to impart. A letter found beside the sleeping body of senior enchanter Jasmir, her last known communication before her subconscious possession and then death, along with 12 mages, 9 Templars, and unaccounted apprentice and tranquil at the hands of the knight captain Hangar. Hangar? Sure. Alright, Arlesian Caprice Coins. Victory in the grand game is not merely determined by what one has at one's command, one connections, and one mach- machinings, but what one is willing to give up. The clearest example is Caprice. Each coin is traditionally a gift. They were once tokens of regards, favor for chevaliers from their lovers or patrons. Throwing them into a fountain was rooted in superstition. The token was offered as a sacrifice, a bribe to Andraste to keep the chevalier safe on the battlefield. The more one had to offer to the waters, the better one's chance of escaping the caprice of fate, hence the name. Over time, the superstition aspect of the custom faded. Now the caprice is a mark of status. The more coins one has, the more public the specter of throwing them away, the stronger one's position in the game. From the Dorley's Field Guides to Good Societies by Lady Alcon. Alright. Superstitions of the royal family. The Valmont family has its quirks. Every family does, but the Valmonts learn particular towards the cult. Emperor Revel the Mad believed in ghosts. He was certain that his mother continued to advise him after her death, and that the angry shade of his twin brother sought his downfall. His employed the service of soothsayers to convey messages from the beyond the graves and to stave off his slain brother's wrath. His son, Emperor Jericho I, had a fascination for all things ancient and arcane. It is said that his desire to reconstruct the palace of Hamsharal after an elven uprising destroyed it was due more to his interest in the site itself than in the politics or the game. They say he chose to spend the winter months at this family retreat because he believed the palace located at the nexus of elven magic. The spending time there would grant him longer life, as with the fabled immortal elves. In the end, the palace did not prevent his death due to heart failure. His youngest son, Prince Rennie, had a similar interest in elves and the Dales. His collected carvings of Halath, the Dalish beasts of burden, scarred to one of their false gods. The statue, all the work of Dalish artisans during the long walk, were kept in his room in the Winter Palace. When his daughter ascended to the throne, she had them repurposed as keys. But why and what for, no one can know. All right. The Lion of Olay. As your question regarding why a lion is considered the symbol of Olay, particular when the lion is a creature native only to the eastern Thedas, the answer is quite simple. It adorns the crest of the Valmonts, the family that has ruled the empire since the end of the exiled age. And in truth, it is the Valmonts which have come to represent Olay. Before them, the Elysian symbol was that of a descendant of Corius Draken, a dragon. As to why the lions adorn their crests, that dates back to the time of Lambert Valmont, a young captain of Olay who distinguished himself at the Battle of Siege, the great and the infamous battle that ended the Fourth Blight. It is said that the young Valmont discarded orders during the battle, taking his forces to relieve the Belgrade Antevans and saving them for absolute destruction, though his superiors were at first chagrined, chalking up the captain's actions to an infiltration with a certain Antivan camp follower. This, incidentally, has never been confirmed. It later came to light that the Antivan forces had been led by King Elzar of Torva Campion himself. In political regiment following the Blight's end, Antiva was an important ally to Olay, and Lambert Vermont was an Antivan hero. He was given the hand of one of the kings as his daughter in marriage and elevated to noble rank, with a violent lion to adorn his newly created hierarchy. The Orlesian Empire was forced to respond in kind, granting Valmont a marquette. Imagine, if you will, the hero returning to Val Royeaux from the Blight, sporting a wife with royal blood and the honors of two nations. This is why jealous nobles called him the Swaggering Lion, a nickname he embraced. It was the Lambert Valmont's son, Alphonse, who later led the civil war against the usurper Xaver Draken. He killed Xaver in a single combat, giving rise to the great Orlesian legend of the lion slaying the dragon, putting an end to the Draken dynasty as he assumed the throne and changed the legion's symbol forever. Wicked eyes and wicked hearts, the old gods will call to you. From their ancient prison they will sing. Dragons with wicked eyes and wicked hearts, on blackened wings does descent take flight. The first of my children, lost to the night. Canticles of Silence 3:6. The desolate Canticles of the Silence is alternate creation story to the versions in the Canticle of Therides. Much of the Canticles is written from the point of view of the Maker himself as he addressed humankind, which is why it is ultimately considered a blasphemy presumption and removed from the verse of the chant. Popularly attributed to the Archon Hessarian, Silent depleted the Maker as more sorrowful as the corruption and betrayal of his children, both spirit and moral. He mourns the fallen and corrupted of the old gods as his own mistake, and urges his mortal children to turn aside from the dark path their elder siblings have led them down. Most historians agree that the Archon Hessarian had indeed likely written this canticle during the bloody Deventer transfiguration. Literally, scholars of the Imperium often cite this as one of the oldest records piece of propaganda. In the sixth verse, the grieving Maker calls upon his mortal children to acknowledge that the dragon gods have manipulated and deceived them, and to throw off their corruptive influence and return to the light. As the people of Deventer rose up and slaughtered anyone remaining faithful to their old gods, this became the rallying call of the most terrible bloodbath in the history of the Imperium. Here lies the abyss. Here lies the abyss, well of all souls. From these emerald waters doth life begin anew. Come to me, child, and I shall embrace you. In my arms lies eternity. Canticles of Andraste 14:11. Chantry sisters have long debated this section of the Chant of Light. It is tempting to assume that the well of all souls is literally well. Excuse me. But such imagery appears nowhere in Andraste's other work. An examination of Therides 1:4 yields clues. From the waters of the Fade you made the world, as the Fade has been fluid, so was the world fixed. It is possible, even likely, that the emerald waters Andraste refer are the substance of the Fade, which begin as an ocean of dreams. Therides 1:1. and was reduced to a well, bottomless but limited in scope, by the Maker's creation of our world. Is Andraste urging the listeners to come to the Fade? Should we take from the emerald waters doth life begin anew as literal evidence of reincarnation, or even of life after death, as the cult of spirits suggests, or as a figure of benediction indicating that the Maker is the source of all life, and in finding his embrace for eternity, we will only be returning our souls from whence they came. That holds a lot of clues for Veilguard, but I digress. Alright, a different Darkspawn. The journal, penned by an unknown writer, appears to be quite old, with many of its pages damaged by water and dust. The entries that can be read all appear to be about 20 years old. We finally found a muck living in the passage. Still can't believe it. The only reason I didn't stop digging is because he had the key to the cache. But after 2 weeks, I was expecting to find it on his corpse. What story does he come up with? That he found by Darkspawn of all things. A talking Darkspawn, polite as you please, who fed him and gave him water and evidently chatted with him about surfacers. I don't know what Amok is thinking, coming up with a story like that, but he swore by the stone it was all the truth. Crazy as it sounds, I know Amok, and he got the imagination of a dull hammer. Why would he make something like that up? Reminds me of a story my grandsire used to tell about something his grandsire did. Said once he came upon a group of 3 darkspawns in the deeper roads, each twice the size of any dwarf, bigger than humans even, and dressed up like kings. He watched from the shadows and said they talked like people about things he couldn't understand, a city gone black, and they blamed each other for things but could barely remember for what. My mom was like that, never remembering this sight, just that she was angry. Story goes, they attacked each other and one ran while the second choked the third to death and then ate him. Don't know about Darkspawn having talking kings, never mind polite ones that give you food and tea, but maybe I met one of them. There's strange things in the deep roads, after all, things the Shaper cannot even recall, as if smuggling wasn't dangerous enough. The Avenures. Let me tell you something. There are mirrors. Old mirrors. Oh, the Luvians. I read the wrong way. I'm thinking of Veilguard every time I read something like this. Sorry. Let me tell you something. They are mirrors. Old mirrors from the ancient times when our people ruled every part of this land. Only they're not real mirrors. They're Luvians. You'd find some dusty old scholar. He's going to tell you our people use Illuvians to talk to each other. Don't believe it. They are portals. You walk into one and eventually you come out of the other side. Or at least this is what I'm told. You never wonder why they never found any elven roads, like our ancestors never walked anywhere. That's why. They use Illuvians, and they are still Illuvians in the old places today. Some of them even work, and Briella knows where they are. If we can get our hands on them, we'll have an advantage that no human can ever hope to counter. The ability to move across half of Thedas in a heartbeat. Adamant Fortress. Of all the decisions we Grey Wardens were forced to make over the lean years, withdrawing from the Fortress of Adamant was perhaps the most difficult. It had been built as a basin against darkspawn spilling out of the Abyss Rift, a symbol of how we done the impossible, pushing those creatures back into the shadows where they belong. We kept the land safe from further encroachment, but as each new age dawned, memories of our sacrifice became fainter. The entire western approach had become a wasteland, and thus the expense of maintaining the fortress became increasingly difficult to justify. There were no griffins to fill its rear, too few wardens to man its battlements, too many good men and women killed by demons creeping through the thinning veil. Each visit of the warden commander made it more apparent that Adamant had become a symbol of our decline. Even darkspawn still emerged from the chasm. Who would they threaten other than the wardens themselves? So, in the dawn of the Blessed Age, we sealed the fortress' mighty gates. We left the great griffin statue to tarnish in the blowing sand, retreating to Masmar with a sense of loss and shame. I returned recently with a small exhibition to retrieve supplies, surprised to see it still standing. The dwarves did well by us. I suspect Adamant will remain for ages to come, but should the Order ever return, they will find it difficult to resurrect. Only spirits roam in the halls now, alongside with memories of those who had gave their lives to protect us all from darkness. From the Journal of Vanin, Grey Warden of Olay, 858, Blessed. Oh, I almost missed one here. That's okay, we'll read this one and then go up one. On Skyhold. A page from Enchanter's Journal, scorched to the near illegible. The style is an old Ferellan dialect, circle meditate divine age. Experiments in ambition lingers, first staging. The question isn't, is it special? The question is, how special? We found relics, but they are always relics. Elves ranged far before the Empire was crushed, but rarely did they return where they did not build. This place they visit again and again. I see it in the fragments. Clay is from different nations, not just craftsmen's styles from different centuries, not just clans, and yet no record of a rune. The structures here are all Ferelden, with the stone ferried by a typical madman. Whatever was here, whatever natural spire, it was flattened for a floor. But I know common shapes, and I will erect them as was custom, and we shall see what the elves wish to see. The note below in a different, uneducated hand. I finished this for Master Got. His working brought lightning, much lightning. The rods are pools of metal now, and all his working burnt. Master was also struck. I wrote for him his last words because his fingers are ash, and he did not live the night. The veil is old here. Skyhold is not just claimed time and again, but sacked as well. We managed to uncover some remnants, including a scratching under a pillar that mentioned the name given by your witch, old but still long after the place had been built over. But the author knew something of its first purpose, or at least something of a legend. Thus, Varhanes himself. Okay, I am not going to try to read that. Even with assistance from your elf, we managed only a particular partial translation. Elven is often a game of intent, not directed mapping of photonic meanings. That means it's a mess. Our belief transformed into everything. Assertion, problem, uncertain. All time is transformed into a final first death, uncertain. Inevitable, threatening, victory, or honorable promise, freedom in the untorn veils, uncertain. Whether the sky is held up back, where the people give gain, love that is an apology, promise from, to, missing subject, uncertain. Mostly complete as fragments go. The rhythm is strange, not like others I've recorded, perhaps less a poem than a statement. The Elven language does tend to meander. Notes from the archives. Possible reference to Skyhole and the ruins of the Great Library of Barrow. What follows are the names of the powers that may have held a fortress in the region. Unfortunately, time and records are such that for many, the name is also that is unknown, and some of those are merely as reference in other works. Your fortress is vagabond, but your years will do that to the stone well made. The Tan Imperium, passing mentions of the unseen trading partners occupied, where hold the sky in the Rainier ballad of the Kentum of Naw. Thought fictional, date uncertain. Father of Ross, and the Ferelden built upon the sky, mentioned as a possibility destination of the spirits of the dead band. A Ferelden lullaby dated to the Excel ages. Lady Banner of She, Ferelden highwaymen banished in 483 Black, thought to use a place in the clouds as refuge. Spire, Elysian Tavern song mentioned Skyhole by the name as fanciful utopia, but also claiming nugs with wings and a dragon that blows bubbles. On Tor Orthan 5V, possibly etching of the major skyhole featuring, but no context available. Unknown language, the title has never been translated, pre-glory. Tevinter carving, a broken relief that matches the outline of the main gate, but also possible scholarship suggests a structure outside Maratus, pre-divine, possibly shard inspiration, but it is not known in what direction. Study continues will appraise you of any other reference of worth. Ooh, excuse me. Ham Shiral. After the glorious reclamation of the Dales, the elves' capital laid empty and in the ruins for years, a haven for bandits and highwaymen and all manner of miscreants. The land laid unused until the Excelled Age, when Avos Valmont, the very lion himself, declared that a palace should be built there in honor of the valiant actions of his brothers in besting the armies of the false empire Zaverdraki. Originally called Chateau Lion, it was designed as a grand retreat for the empire's brothers and their families. The city of Hamsharal grew around the palace. The first records of its existence appeared in the Storm Age, when Empire Cyril granted the title of Marquess to Sir Ray Maclair for administration of Hamsharal. An elven uprising destroyed Chateau Lion in the Blessed Age. When Empire Driggle I rebuilt it, he named the new retreat the Winter Palace. It was designed more for the Empire and his intimate family than for any cadet branches of House Vermont, and became the heart of the imperial court in the darkest months of winter. So much reading, my eyes are going buggy. Okay. And tails, I am not worried about these. I'm not going to read these. These cards suck to find. Okay. Good. Alright, guys. This is where we're going to end it. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye now.